I'm vengeance.
I'm vengeance. Oh man. Oh man, I'm in the house. AWO's in the house. Aaron will orders in the house. Welcome to AW Detracts episode 20. I haven't done this in a while, but I'm here now. Okay, I'm here now. AW Detracts. Alright, we're gonna have fun tonight. Okay. First one here. Yes, you are, Jalen. We're gonna have lots of fun tonight. I'm going to not exactly a trashy YouTuber, but a trashy website, a trashy grifting website tonight. I'm gonna go find something. There we go. That's good. We're gonna detract cosmic book news. That's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna detract cosmic book news. Okay. Sorry for the yawning there. TJ's in the house. Okay. What we're going to do is read Cosmo Book News' tweet. We're going to take a look at his article. That's what we're going to do. Take a look at this stupid article. Okay? That's what we're going to do. We're going to take a look at this stupid article. All right? That's the plan. Oh, yeah, I got a super chat. Thanks. Thanks to TJ for the super chat. $2. My internet is down. Let's get some detracted, baby. Let's go. And for that, I got to get a clip. I don't know which clip I'm going to use. I'll just use a dark side one.
You dare? You dare?
There we go. Thanks for the super chat. I appreciate it. Internet's down again for him. But yeah, we're going to just get up the article. I mean, I saw the tweet, but it's probably better to bring up the article. Zack Snyder teases many more guys with new Henry Cavill Superman image. Look at the grifting here. You dare? Look at the grifting with this title. Zack Snyder teases many more stories together with new Henry Cavill with super image. Really? Okay. You dare? Really, I'm gonna get rid of this banner. It's kind of distracting. Okay, there we go. All right, I gotta get rid of this thing here. Get rid of the video. Get rid of whatever. Audible. Get Audible. No kidding. All right, good look at this. Zack Snyder teases many more stories together with new Henry Cavill super image. Okay. Here it is. 500,000 followers in 2 months. So, how many? Zack Snyder got 500 followers, helping reach 500 followers just over 2 months. Snyder wrote, Today marks a little milestone in the Raw Instagram journey. 500,000 followers in just over 2 months. I just want to say a heartfelt thank you to everyone who joined along for the ride. For me, these characters are kind of modern mythology, and I put a ton of reference and respect into bringing them to life. Seeing that resonate with so many meanings of the world. Here's too many more others. No. Okay? Here's a problem with that. That can refer to anything he's doing. That can refer to anything. Okay? 500,000 followers in 2 months? Let's just say, does he say he gained 500,000 followers in 2 months, or he got over 500K in 2 months? Like, finally, in the last 2 months, he was able to get over 500K, like in total, or did he get a total of 500,000 followers in 2 months? Okay, here's to more movie sadness and disappointment. Okay, because. Okay, mythology. I mean, what, what mythology is he talking about? The last photograph? Okay. The last photograph. Oh, is he talking about the Watchmen? Oh, is he talking about DC? Oh, he's talking about DC. We need more stories to put together. Here's too many more stories together. He's talking about future projects. He's future about projects. He's future about future projects. Okay? He's talking about future projects. That's what he's doing. Many more stories together. He's talking about future projects. Like the last photograph. That movie with the that actress, Tia Negardo, whatever her name is. That's what he's basically saying right there, okay? Okay? Okay. He put the Superman photo because Superman is the most popular character he would use to get the most attention. It would get the most attention, all right? Like, it would get the most attention. That's why he used that photo. That would get the most attention, okay? That's the only reason why. He's not stupid. He's in the business. It's yet another carefully timed drop following months of teasers from Snyder. Everything from Rorschach Parlay to Wonder Woman's original Crimean War photo to multiple Batman-related images. Fans point out that Snyder hasn't pointed his media to the latest shot since the run-up to Zack Snyder's Justice League. No. Do you know why Zack Snyder's posting those pictures? Do you know why Zack Snyder's posting those pictures? 2 reasons why. He's trying to stay relevant. He's trying to stay relevant because the Netflix projects really hurt his image. Like the DC stuff, I don't think that really hurt his image as much as people think. I think it's the Netflix that really is the DC stuff is. The DC stuff. Yeah, a lot of people didn't like it. Some people did, obviously, but it's really the Netflix stuff. I really think definitely was the reason why nobody really trusts Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder is people don't really talk about Zack Snyder outside of the Snyder crew. Like, people don't really have an interest in Zack Snyder. Like, Zack maybe the Netflix stuff might surely expose Snyder's directorial tendencies way too much. Yeah. Okay. And so he's trying to stay relevant by posting his pics. And this is not something new directors do. Okay. Directors have done this before. Directors of other comic book movies have released pics of characters, actors and the characters from the set before 2, 3, 4 years after. This is not a new phenomenon. This has been done before, okay? It's not really a new phenomenon at all, okay? It's been done before. Zack's not the first one to do this shit, okay? Zack's not the first to do everything, okay? Okay? And there's no momentum, okay? Snyderverse momentum goes after Netflix when Warner Brothers bid. Well, We obviously on here we've been detracting that for the last few days, and we point out evidence why that's not true. That's not true, right? We point out evidence why that's not true. Okay. All doubts, yeah. Okay, exactly. All doubts about Snyder were justified because of the Netflix movies. They put their faith in Zack Snyder to develop these movies in a universe, Rebel Moon and Army of the Dead universe. Okay, those are either in jeopardy or have been secretly canceled. His contract's up. I think they've all been canceled. Netflix, there's no reason to do an Army of the Dead universe. There's no reason to do Rebel Moon 3 based on how bad Rebel Moon 2 and 1 are. I know Rebel 2. I see Rebel 2 left it open for a sequel based on the ending because it was intended to be part of a saga, right? It's not supposed to be two movies, but both movies failed miserably. And Zack Snyder could say all this shit about it's more Rebel Moon would have made $1 billion hit if it was in a theater. No, it fucking wouldn't. No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't. Okay? Nobody was talking about Rebel Moon, except Snyder people, except some people. Barbie, people were talking about Barbie 3 or 4 months before the movie came out. Okay? Okay? Nah, no. Because Rebel Moon, the reviews would have come out and it would be terrible scores. And people wouldn't care. Okay, all right. Snyder was he spent the last several years building up major franchises in Netflix, giving his streamers old template roles for Rebel Moon Army of the Dead. But okay. Insiders speculate that Netflix's need for premium IP and its intense, aggressive theatrical streaming strategies could reopen the door for Snyder to return to DC some form, either through continuation one-offs or fresh episodes like The Dark Knight Returns. Well, the insiders, the so-called people that have connections to the industry tell you the otherwise. Now, I'm talking about like Campia, Kristen Harloff, people like that have actual connections to the industry. They're better well off. You probably well known, more connected. Because this guy has no connection to the industry or some aspect. I mean, look, you think about Campia, Harloff, all you want, people like that, or like people like that. You can think all you want about them, right? But if you take a word of this guy compared to guys who had actually connections to the industry, yeah, I'm taking somebody who has actual potential connections to the industry, okay? And they're all telling you that's not the case. And Zaslav, and I don't know if this article mentions it. Okay. Here's the problem. This article is omitting a lot of stuff because this is a very biased article, okay? Snyder didn't mention DC Superman, but he didn't have to. Yes! Posting Cavill Superman was saying, here's too many more stories together. Only as cinematic speculation about comes next under Netflix ownership and rather Snyder's version. See, this is the problem with this skit. This is how biased this article is. Bullshit. Omitting so much stuff that obviously people like us, people in industry, okay, because we're not industry, but we listen to people that have connections to industry. We know what's happening. We know what's Netflix. We know who's in charge of the film division at Netflix. Okay. We know Netflix is not happy with it. Netflix doesn't publicly come out and say, yeah, we're not happy with Zack Snyder. They're not going to say that publicly, okay? They're not going to say that publicly. And yeah, we're not. Ted Sarandis is not going to come out and say we banded this universe because Snyder didn't deliver. That's waiting for the company in-house, okay? But we always could. They're not going to come out admit that. Okay. They're not going to really bury Snyder publicly. You kind of buried him privately. Okay. The thing is, Snyder's one burying himself. And another reason why I think he's doing this to stay relevant, I think he's become jealous of James Gunn. I don't know. I know there's friends. I know they're supposed to be friends, but guys, friends. It's not stupid to say. It's not. It's obvious, right? It's obvious, right? Friends become jealous of friends, right? I'm sure all of you are jealous of your friend of something, right? Friends become jealous of friends. I think Zack Snyder has become jealous of James Gunn because people were liking his Superman movie. People were praising Peacemaker, and the thing is, yeah, maybe Superman made a little bit, Man of Steel made a little bit more money, but the overall reception of it, more people like Superman than Man of Steel. Okay? Okay? Yeah. Okay? And because that, to me, that's a sign of jealousy. That's a sign of jealousy in Zack Snyder. Directors, I mean, I'm sure directors are jealous of other directors all the time. People, it's a natural thing to get jealous, right? They have envy, obviously. It's kind of natural, right? And friends get jealous of friends all the time, okay? Gunn became the new Snyder, and the difference is people actually like Gunn's work. And Gunn had previous success, right, with Guardians, financially in reception wise, with reception. Okay. And the Snyder fans can accept this. They don't like that. Okay. And this guy, it provides no facts. Okay. Gains momentum. Okay. Cite me a source. His insiders. Cite me a source. Cite me a source. Who says that? Who says that? Cite me a source. That's Hollywood Reporter. Is Hollywood Reporter start saying that? Cite me somebody cite me somebody saying this. All right, saying it's gaining momentum. Cite me because all the other things that are more legit are saying the exact opposite. Of what this guy is saying. This guy, is this the same guy who posted the picture? I tried, right? Almost like yesterday, right? He said, I tried. This is the same guy who posted the picture. I tried. If that doesn't give you a hint that this guy's a fraud, then I'm sorry, you guys, whoever's listening to this, obviously most of the people who are listening to this right now are obviously not. No, but if you're listening to this, if that doesn't give you a hint this guy's a fraud, Cosmo News, then I don't know what to tell you. Okay? I tried. He's trying to grift on the Snyder cult, the Snyder movement, the Snyder, restore the Snyder. He's trying to grift off you guys, you fucking idiots. Some of you, Snyder. I mean, you guys are so Snyder cult. You're so delusional. You got people grifting off you, they're trying to make you believe they're bullshit, and you're so stupid to fall for it. Okay? Stupid to fall. This guy literally had a picture saying I tried. Okay? You know what that means? He has no sources. Insider sources. There's nobody. Okay? That's a defeat. Then he comes out with this. Our insiders maintain the franchise is back in play. Yeah, he used the post as a bad signal for Snyder Bros. Okay. Okay. These are the same people. Well, actually, the guy who wrote this is not the owner of the Cosmic News. It's a different guy who wrote this, but it's the same BS, the same mindset, right? The same mindset, right? Like, right? But this is coming from the same Twitter account where Utopia 2 is a template for the Snyderverse will be popular in China. Like, what's the evidence for that? What's the evidence for that? Okay, if that's the case, which is not, why didn't the Marvel movies do better in China? Okay? You can't compare an animation movie that's meant for families and kids to a comic book movie. Okay? Comic book movies are different. You only can compare, it's apples and apples, right? Comics to comics is apple and apples. This is Zootopia and Snyder shit is apples and oranges. Zootopia to any comic book movie is apple and oranges. Okay? Animation and Avatar is considered animation. Yeah, you're listening to this. Okay, you're listening to this. It's different than live action comic book shit, okay? Okay? It's not proof that the success of Zootopia 2, okay? I'm pretty sure yes, they did. Didn't they like Aquaman? I think they might have liked Aquaman though. Okay. I think they did Aquaman did well in China. But it's just not comparable. What you get? You know what I could. You know what I could say. You know what I could say. Tron Ares flopped. Like Tron Ares flopped. This I can use the same. I can use the same argument. Tron Ares is so bad. This is proof that the people in China are not fans of Tron Ares. I can use that same argument. Right? South Snyder versus China. Right? I can use the same argument. Oh, Tron Ares didn't do well at the box office. The Snyderverse will not do well. It's because since the Chinese audience is not like Tron Ares, I mean, it's the Chinese audience is not going to like the Snyderverse. Okay, I can make that. I mean, it's a stupid. You see how stupid that sounds? Stupid that sounds. How stupid. It's amazing. It's amazing how people like this are grifting, are lying to get a wise out of the Snyder fans, the Snyder cult, and trying to make the Snyder cult believe. Okay? Netflix is fucking Kmart of the streamers. I said, if this deal goes through, it really is the worst case scenario. Kmart. We don't have Kmart in Canada anymore. Let you know that. We don't have that. We used to. We still have Walmart. Okay. Okay. There's a lot of things he omits in his article. Okay. Obviously, Dan Lin, Netflix not being happy. Ben Affleck doesn't want to be Batman again. You know who James' manager was before he became big producer? Was it Pierre Safran? Walter Amada? I know he's good friends with Walter Amada, right? I know he's good buddies with Walter Amada. No Kmart here anymore either. I know he's his good friend. I know Hamada and Juan are good buddies. I'm pretty sure Hamada is the one that got James Wan to work on Aquaman. Saffron. And The Conjuring, I mean, he had success at Conjuring also, right? And Conjuring was Warner Brothers, so yeah. Saffron Hamada and Juan are all buddies. Okay. Okay. And you see how vague this article is? He doesn't give any evidence. When you say this is not evidence. Okay? Guys, I'm gonna go the Marvel route here. Okay? Which actor? Okay. Obviously, you know this is fake, but you could have shit. Okay. You could have the Russo brothers automatically release a picture on Instagram of Gamora. And we know Gamora's not coming back because we know the actress is done with Gamora. Okay? Zoe Saldana. Okay? It doesn't mean anything. Releasing pics don't mean anything all the time. Okay? Most of the time, teases don't lead to anything. This is not a tease. Doomsday is all. Or Marvel. Okay, Marvel again. Marvel example again. Okay? You can have who's the actor that's not coming back or actress? Who said they're not coming back? Batista. The Russo brothers drop a Batista. Drax. We know he's not coming back. A photo Drax. Oh my God, Drax is coming back. I mean, people are gonna assume. Obviously, people are gonna assume that Drax will be in Avengers Doomsday if they do drop that pick. I mean, they're gonna have. It's gonna be kind of the same reaction, but we know Drax is not coming back because we know Batista's done with Marvel too. Okay. And here's the thing. I know most of the people that comment on this stuff, that comment Instagram, things like that, they probably don't, most of the time, don't do their due diligence, don't do their research. Why there's factors that doesn't prove, that proves it's not the case. Like, for example, like the Gamora thing, like they say, Russo's released a Gamora pick. Everybody assumes in Doomsday, right? But most of the people that like or whatever, favorite, like, share, whatever that, may not know that she is done, obviously. And that's what this person's feeding on, right? The Snyder Cult. I mean, all the Snyder Cult, they may know, but they don't care. They don't give a shit. They believe, okay? They don't believe, well, obviously they don't believe in reality. They make their Snyder Cult has become their whole identity, right? It's become their whole identity. It's like their life is so sad, right? Like they had no role models or nobody to how they grew up. It's like they had no role models or anything like that. And he thinks like Snyder's like their daddy, is like the Snyderverse is like their role models, their mentors, their I don't know. It's fucking strange as fuck. I think more like trauma. Well, so you could 56K. You could say it like this: their trauma has become their identity. Can you say it like that? fatherless behavior. It can be motherless behavior too. Okay? Their whole life is, at least, and it's become, and since the Snyder Cut, and since everything Warner Brothers, and now with Netflix, it's become their trauma, identity, whatever you want to call it, has become worse and worse. Is that exaggerated, right? Is that the word? Right? And it's where they don't live in reality anymore. They don't live in reality. They live in their reality. Let's look at that. He's been shit. They live in their reality, right? They live in their reality. That, you know what happens when you live in a reality that's not normal from what's going on in real life? You know that's a definition. That's also a definition of insanity, right? This is a definition of insanity. They are legitimately insane. I know the definition of insanity is keep saying right, trying to keep doing the same thing over and over again, trying to get this different result, but you end up with the same result. Is that the definition? Wow, but you know the definition of insanity, right? They're definitely part of the insane. They're definitely insane. Sick, right? Is that the definition of insanity, right? It's doing the same over and over, expecting a different result, right? Right? Well, that's them. That's the definition of the Snyder Cult. They just have different little variations of it, right? We started Snyderverse, it's outside of Netflix, and then this news, the Netflix is going to buy Warner Bros. Potentially. Then they all of a sudden believe, oh, it's happening, without doing anything else. I mean, they're a living definition of insanity, and it is a mental illness. This has legitimately become a mental illness. I don't know what you call it. I mean, there's probably a specific name. There's a specific diagnosis for this kind of thing. All right? The Suncoast fallacy. Yeah. There's a specific name. There's a specific diagnosis for this kind of mental illnesses. But we call it Snyder syndrome, right? Like a lot of people call it Snyder syndrome, whatever. But there's an actual medical term for this kind of insanity, obviously, right? When you associate your identity with something that's not real, that's not possible anymore, right? It's just take the Ripper first. Okay? And yeah, some of them might be grifting. I mean, this guy's a grifter for sure because he's dishonest. You can tell he's dishonest. And dishonest people are con artists, right? They're conning. I think these guys conning people. I don't think, honestly, I'll say this. I don't think he believes what he's saying, but I don't think the site believes what they're writing. I think they're just trying to get a rise out of people and trying to trick the Snyder Cult. Because I do think we know we know there's people like this that get like a rise out of people, right? We know people in X just to say shit. You get a rise out of people. We know people in X say shit they don't mean, but they say something stupid on purpose, right? Look, a lot of people say stupid shit on X, but guess what? Most of the stupid stuff they say on X, it's not accidental. It's on purpose. It's on purpose. 100%, yeah, grifting for clicks. Here's the thing: if you're gonna say something normal at X, you're probably not gonna get that much attention. But if you say something ridiculous, what is stupid, you're gonna get attention, and that's on purpose because people love attention. Here's the thing you gotta know about being on social media: people go to social media or on social media because they want the attention. They want the attention. Okay. They want the attention. Okay. Gun duration syndrome. Okay. Okay? They want the attention. If this guy says something reasonable, it probably get some people talking, but it wouldn't create a wildstorm. Okay? Like this. Okay? When you post pictures, when people have Instagram, when they post pictures or selfies, they're trying to get attention, right? And want to know something? Hot take here. You know when you have Instagram influencers, especially Instagram influencers, right? When they take selfies and pictures all the time, the whole day, and they're always looking, trying to look really, really sexy, stuff like that. Deep inside, they're insecure. They're insecure. That's why they do that. That's why they take pictures of themselves all the whole fucking day. Insecure. Insecurity. Okay? Okay? Look, I'm not on stream with my face or anything like that. But my videos I show my face. I don't care. I mean, I'm not there to be okay. I don't care what I look like, really, publicly. Yeah. The sad part is the gun isn't really that great if we're being serious. He spared a lot of those jabroni. Yeah, we've seen, but a lot of ideas are retarded. The thing with James Gunn, yeah, he's good for what he does, but he's not like an upper tier director. He's not a director that's gonna direct an Oscar-worthy movie, right? He's not that kind of director. He's more of a director that's he doesn't see it all, right? He's not there for awards. He's not there to make movies for awards. He's a different kind of director in that sense, right? Okay. He's not there to go for best director at the Oscars or the Golden Globes or anything. His movies are about they're just having fun as long as they're good, right? And it makes sense, right? His movies are more laid back kind of films, right? Where sure there's a lot of serious themes in this film, but you don't have to keep your brain on for his films. Where Hollywood movies, Oscar-worthy movies, those kind of movies, you kind of do, right? Right? You kind of do. Connecting the characters is the main goal. Where Snyder's movies, DC movies, he wants your brain to be on because everything, he wants your brain to be on. Just a problem, his stuff didn't make sense and turn a lot of people's brains off. It didn't compute. Okay. And Snyder relies too much on the visual effects. I think he relies too much on visual effects. I think that hurts his film at times. I think the problem with his filmmaking is not obviously his storytelling and writing. I think too much slow motion in his films. Okay. And he puts slow motion in spots of the film, in certain spots of films. Rebel Moon, especially. Rebel Moon, he put slow motion spots in certain scenes, certain aspects of the film that did not need to be slow motion at all. Okay? Rebel Moon 2, we did not need to see slow motion of the town people like farming and stuff. Why do we need slow motion of people farming? Why? Yes, the thing is, Snyder's also high on his farce. He thinks he's writing something profound, but extremely retarded. Yeah, it's in his head, right? His stuff he says is in his head. He thinks what in his head is makes sense on translation of film, right? I'm sure all directors, all writers do that. But obviously, when you're writing, if you're writing anything, right? Doesn't mean if it's a script, I'm not anything, right? If you're writing a script, a book, or just writing something on paper, you gotta read it if it makes sense, right? It may sound good in your head, but read it, and hear in your voice, your tone of your voice, if it makes sense, right? Right? All the time. Okay? All the time. Especially if it's your own work. Okay. Superman is Jesus. Yeah, Superman is not Jesus. Okay. 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 Kal-El? You want to know what Kal-El is? You know where Kal-El comes from? Kal-El comes from Hebrew. It comes from it's Hebrew. It's a Kal-El, his name, it's a Hebrew. It comes from Hebrew. Okay? Superman's Muhammad. Superman's technically inspired by inspiration of Moses, right? Right? Kind of inspired by Moses. And yeah, sure, he has some. Sure, he has like some, I guess, Messiah-like attributes to him. Jeez. Okay. Okay. But he's right. So Superman's Goliath. I mean, Superman. Superman is not Goliath, but you can see why people say Superman is Goliath because he's unbeatable, even though he didn't get beatable. Goliath. Okay, whatever. Yeah, the Exodus. Okay. But Superman's not Jesus. I know freaking at JDA had a problem. Like JDA had a problem. He because he said Superman is inspired by Jesus. The guy that fucking doesn't know anything about comics. He's not. Okay. You want to know something with TJ Degrassi? All comic books were created by all created by Jewish comic creators. Okay. DC and Marvel, Batman, Superman, Spider-Man. Okay. All right. Okay. So yeah, JDA. Remember, JDA had a problem, right? I mean, look, Superman is inspired by Moses, but Superman in the comics obviously wasn't raised Jewish. Obviously, the Kents were not Jewish; they're Christians, obviously. But okay. But I just find it hard, right? But and I don't want to get more religion here. I mean, like, yeah, like, heck. I mean, I read a recent issue of X-Men where a rabbi said, now Magneto's a good guy now, but Magneto is kind of like Moses now. It's like the Moses for mutants and stuff. I don't know, man. Like I mean, it's from Pharaoh from Exodus. Oh my god. No. Did they have slaves on Krypton, Red? Were they enslaving Brady? No, were they enslaving the Master Mars people? Yeah, Superman's an alien raised to be American. Exactly. Okay. You're blinded. Superman's an alien. I'm a fucking alien too, guys. We're all alien. Here. You know what? How about this, guys? You know how aliens, we're afraid of aliens aliens who could invade Earth? How about we invade them before they invade us, Get a preemptive strike. Luthor is like the Pharaoh, actually, although the Kryptonians might be like the Pharaohs. I don't know much about Kryptonian history. I don't know what they're... We know in Kryptonian history that politics did play a role in the downfall of Krypton, right? And we know Krypton wasn't a democracy, wasn't it? It was not a democracy. I don't think it was a democracy either, Krypton. Okay. And you guys in Superman, right? The House of El, the House of Zod, the House of this, the House of Families goes back. It's a very old tradition kind of thing, right? The House of this, the House of this, right? And we don't say the House of Blinded, the House of, because I don't know your guys' last name, but we don't say the House of your guys' last names anymore. We don't say House of this, House of that, right? The House of, I don't know, I'm gonna use a sports athlete, the House of Michael Jordan, right? The House of Jordan, right? The House of Jordan, the House of Brady. You know, we don't say that anymore, right? But it's because it's very that goes back centuries. It's having implied that the downfall is their fault in most adaptations. Yeah, definitely. The House of the Aaron War Order. No. Yo, Blind's in the house. Okay. All right. Because I found because the planet woke. Yeah, that's why. Zod. No. Is Zod Rider related to Zod? Oh man, I don't. Krypton fell because the planet ran woke. That's actually pretty funny. But man, this seriously. Brainiac made them woke. But seriously, there's no proof here. No proof. He says our insiders. I can make bullshit up like that too. I can say our insiders. I can make a website, get some traction, and say our insiders. Our insiders. Have you noticed when, because the eye isn't it? Have you noticed when we'll connect people connections? When Hollywood Reporter, Variety say report news of things, right? They don't say our insiders. They say we have learned, and then this has been cast, this is happening. We have learned this actor's been cast, this movie's announced, and then at the bottom though, we've they've been contacted the actors, the director, actresses to say their management, right? Their management, and also to say we have contacted, we got no word. Have you noticed they don't say our insiders? Our insiders? Do you know why they don't say our insiders? Because they don't report something until 98% of the time is factually true. That's why you don't hear them say insiders. Okay? That's how you know it's a grift. Neurotic says he's insiders. Exactly, Sparrow. Okay? Okay? They never say they have insiders. And that not just goes for entertainment. That goes for sports, too. I mean, sports have insiders all the time, too. Okay? Okay? But there's a lot of bullshit insiders in sports, the sports world, too. The sports media, too. Okay? Now, the problem is, people like discussing film do tend to source Jeff Schneider, where he does get a lot of things wrong, right? A lot of things wrong. Now what he's done is, with the Emma Stone thing, somebody's going to ask Emma Stone, is it true you turned down the Batman? Somebody's going to ask her now. Ask her now. If that never came out, I mean, she doesn't have social media, but that's going to come out now. Somebody's going to ask her, is it true you turned out Batman? Part 2. It's going to happen. Yeah, Snyderverse dies, just like Charlie died as Spotting Friends. Okay? Okay? And only difference is Charlie actually, which are unlike the Snyderverse. I've been watching wrestling Mark channels. Like they have better claim to say they know shit because they're all ran by former wrestlers, managers of WWE. Oh yeah, I mean like you know the wrestling medium now. A lot of wrestlers are building up channels now. A lot of them have channels, like their own channels now, and they address stuff that's interesting at times. Where they hear rumors from the past and they get to address their stuff on their own channels at times. Yeah, a lot of them have YouTube channels, and some are good, some are bad, and you'll be surprised what wrestlers have terrible YouTube channels. Like Undertaker is not good. Undertaker's not good. Surprisingly, Stevie Richards has pretty good YouTube channel. Maven, it's not really a podcast, but Maven his YouTube channel is very good. It's very professional, but it's very staged because I think there is a whole WWE ruined takers. Yes, 100% agree. I do think Maven and Devon Dudley are all some part of some same network. We don't know. Right, the same network, because the way their videos are made is very similar. So it's not so there's really no difference in the way between the two. They're very similar how their style, how they produce their videos, which is okay because I like Devon's video. I like his work. But you got like David Ortunga, who nobody gave a shit about in WWE. Like nobody cared about David Ortunga, man. I mean, look, Stevie Richards is a jobber in WWE, but Stevie Richards is a lot more popular than David Ortunga. David Ortunga has a YouTube channel. Okay? Okay? Nobody cares. And all he's been doing is bashing John Cena. He's trying to make a stick bashing John Cena. All of a sudden, he starts bashing John Cena a week ahead of his retirement, right? Why? So he has to wait a week to bash John Cena. Get on the grift. Talk about a grifter. Talk about getting the grift train, right? Yeah. Ortunga graduated from Harvard. Yeah, but it didn't make him a good wrestler, right? And there's Mr. Kennedy. Like Steven Richards, I personally think he doesn't get the respect he deserves at times. Because I think he was fine. He was never going to be a big star, but he did his job well. Okay? Okay? But he was certainly a lot more popular than David Ortunga. Like David Ortunga, okay. Okay. And then you got I like Eric Bischoff. Eric Bischoff's YouTube channel. Oh my god. Eric Bischoff just comes off bitter. Very bitter. He just comes off bitter. Very bitter. I agree with some of his stuff. I disagree with some stuff. Because I like hearing him talk about WCW. But I personally think Eric Bischoff is jealous of Tony Khan and AEW. I think okay. Sounds very bitter and has this grudge against AEW. Okay. AEW has been Dynamite has been around longer than Nitro, I think now, right? No. Almost? How long was Nitro been around? 95 to 2001, right? Yeah. Whatever. Okay. I do like listening to JBL when he replaces Bruce Pritchard. It's really funny because Austin had a great podcast, Jericho. But the ones produced by WWE, like you could tell it's very how very WWE produced. I mean, Cody Rhodes has his podcast, plus WWE in. Okay, so like, right? It's just, I don't want a podcast to be owned by a company, right? I'd rather have the podcast. I'd rather listen to podcasters, wrestling podcasters, do their own stick, do their own thing, right? Because they have a lot more. They have a lot. Collision, yeah, it's gonna. It might Collision. I think Collision might. Yeah, it's definitely Collision's on his path out living Thunder. Okay, but I don't like wrestling podcasts that are controlled by WWE. Okay, I don't. I do like the wrestlers are independently doing their own podcast. Look, Maven is doing what you know what like Maven was not particularly a big star in WWE, but you know what Maven does so well on his YouTube channel? The way he talks, the way he describes things. He is so well spoken. It just makes you want to listen. And he sounds intelligent too. Very intelligent. That's why he's having a lot of success. A lot of success. Oh, Hollywood YouTubers? Well, the thing is, they're not as much. There are some Hollywood YouTubers that have the thing is, a lot of podcasters in Hollywood. There's a lot of actors and actresses in Hollywood that have podcasts now, and they're uploading clips to YouTube too now, right? They're uploading clips to YouTube. I mean, Michael Wolfsbaum has a right. Kay Sackhoff. I mean, even bigger YouTubers. Amy Poehler has a podcast. She's uploading clips to YouTube. She's it's yeah. I mean, they've been taking over YouTube for a while though. That's been okay. Like it's happening, and they're not getting much money out of it because those videos don't make much money. They're not getting much money, but they're already wealthy, right? YouTube used to be a gateway for regular Joes to entertain the world and make some money, right? But over the years, how popular it's got, everybody wants to go on YouTube, right? Okay. I did like Jim Cornette's YouTube channel. I did. Because the thing is, Jim Cornette was entertaining, right? He was entertaining. Undertaker, if you really think about it, Undertaker has no charisma. The guy has no personality. Okay? Nothing. And a lot of wrestlers that do podcasts on YouTube, a lot of them, you realize, no wonder they never got over. They have no personality, no character. And Maven was one of them. Maven is a wrestler. I mean, he didn't wrestle long, but he had no personality, no character. But he found a way to be a success. Okay? He's the guy. He doesn't even upload every single day, but if he uploaded every single day, he would make thousands a week, guaranteed. Because he gets like over 100,000 views a video, Maven. Okay, but everybody in the industry, whether it's wrestling or Hollywood, whatever, has to get in podcasts. I mean, sports is like that too. They're all in the podcasting game, and look, they don't make much money from videos or even streams. They don't make much, but they have sponsorships, right? How much you fucking think? Like Shannon Sharp's going to live stream today, right? I sub to Shannon Sharp, right? Night Out, right? What's it called? Shannon Sharp. Club Shay Shay. You think he's going to make so much money from one video in Club Shay Shay? Nah. Nah. They make peanuts. Now, I'd rather listen to wrestling podcasts is over sports podcasts. I think wrestlers have more interesting stories, but that's just me. But can you imagine if the original Avengers cast has can you imagine if Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Hemsworth all come together and start a podcast called the Avengers podcast? I don't think they'll be able to call it the Avengers podcast because that'll be legally owned by Disney, unless Disney would come to them for a podcast. Can you imagine? Right? And a lot of 90s 2000 stars, kids show stars have their own podcast, Boys Meet World have their own podcast, right? It's funny. We're now seeing the same with comics. All these are boys like July, JDA, and Israel are being replaced by comic book pros. Yeah, because they have a lot more stories to tell. Because they have a lot more stories to tell. They're the inside. They know what it'd be like working with DC, Marvel, Image, Dark Horse. I mean, there's a lot more interesting stories than freaking listening to Air July, JDA, and all the zeros. Who wants to listen to who wants to listen to them? Okay. An Avengers podcast would be money. I mean, look. I know they have a Marvel's podcast, right? A Marvel's podcast. The Marvel's podcast, but it's not the same thing. We should make a podcast called the Anti-Snyder Podcast. Just dedicate a podcast to bashing Zack Snyder. But seriously, this is ridiculous. It's this. Oh, by the way. Freddie, speaking of entertainment, Freddie Prinze Jr. I don't know if you know this, guys. Freddie Prinze Jr. and John Cena don't like each other. They don't like each other. Freddie Prinze Jr. Okay. Now this has nothing to do with movies, really. They never worked on a movie together, but they don't like each other. I don't know if you know this, but they do not like each other, Freddie Prinze Jr. and John Cena. That's because Freddie Prinze Jr. he actually worked with the WWE at one point. Okay. He actually worked with the WWE, okay? So, and I don't know what year it was, but it was the 2010 decades. He worked with WWE, helped on the writing. He was on the writing staff, and he helped with the promos, right? Wrestlers cut promos. He helped with that to help wrestlers design how to cut a good promo, how to talk, right? Right? John Cena John Cena's I don't need this. I know how to do it. And right? John Cena did not like the idea of having Freddie Prinze Jr. there. Yeah, they had real life beef. Yeah. I know Red knows this, right? I know you know this, Red. As John Cena and Freddie Prinze Jr. don't like each other when Freddie Prinze was working in WWE. John Cena turned heel. Yeah, they did not like each other because it was. I remember Freddie Prinze Jr. said in a story I forgot what interview. He said he was teaching the wrestlers how to cut a promo, right, and John Cena didn't attend because he did not need it to there. Did not need it to need there. And Freddie Prinze Jr., what are you doing here? You don't need to be here. And he's like, well, we don't need to do this. This is wrestling. It's funny. It's funny. Because Yeah, Freddie Prinze Jr. is talented, no doubt. And he was very popular for a while, right? Like in the 90s and the 2000s. I mean, he was in a lot of things, right? But he was a huge wrestling fan. So he got involved in wrestling, right? Got involved in wrestling, eventually becoming part of the WWE writing team, the creative. And I assume writing creative for wrestling is different than Hollywood. Okay, because wrestling is different. Writing for wrestlers is different. Okay? It's different. Okay? And you have to kind of do it like a day before the day of. You can't just, that's what happens. Okay? I know he left. And there has been times where a lot of Hollywood writers were working at WWE, and when they left and they tried to apply to work for actual studios, they're kind of embarrassed to put WWE on the resume as previous employment. Embarrassed to put WWE because it's wrestling, right? And wrestling is kind of looked down upon. Okay? All right. I'm kind of tired. I'm beat. Watching this football game. Red, Kansas City and Houston. Short stream today. Was an hour stream. It's not really that short. I'll be back probably Tuesday. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, comment below, guys. Have a good night. Get your internet fixed. TJ. Bye.
Come on. Thanks for watching him, bitch.